In this video, I'm going to talk about why I do not like saying we are all one. You've been spiritual for 5 minutes. You've heard this saying over and over and over again. I want you to think about this for a moment. Let's say there's a fire, campfire, there's some wood, got some flames, and the flames represent all of reality. Now, all of a sudden, there's a spark. You got your fire, which represents all of reality, and then a spark shoots out of the fire, carves its own path through the air, and then burns out. Now, as that spark is on its own journey, yes, it came from the fire, yes, it has all the characteristics of that fire, but is it that fire? Technically, it's not. That fire created that spark and sent it off on its own path. October 20th, 2020, I had a visitation from the soul of Jesus. And not only did I start to remember past lives, being a soul in between past lives, one of the things that happens when the soul of Jesus comes to you, it dissolves all this fog and confusion. And I started to remember all these things. And one of the things that I remember is floating through the cosmos, in between universes. And there comes a point in time on your journey through the cosmos that you'll reach a point where it's kind of like a crossroads. Basically, you have to choose a path to the left or a path to the right, and depending on your path, you're going to have options to incarnate into a bunch of realities where you forget who you truly are, you forget that you are God, and you have to start from scratch. Or you can go to the right, and the other option is to incarnate into realities where you remember who you are. Now, when you decide to incarnate into realities where you completely forget who you are, your true essence, your true identity is wiped from your memory, because that's part of the rules for incarnating into those realities, the free will zones. When you choose to incarnate into the path where you forget who you are, you need to understand that you are gambling with basically everything, because the consciousness you take out of an incarnation is what you're left with on the other side. There's all these teachings saying you're not your thoughts. Well, actually you are. You want to know how I know? Because I've left my body, and all you are is your thoughts and consciousness. And whatever you develop in this reality, you take with you to the next. Why it's so important to open up your heart in this incarnation. So anyways, why I do not like to say we are all one, because when you spark off from God and you go into these realities where you forget where you are given complete sovereignty. You have free will, and you get to decide whether you evolve or devolve. And you can pinch yourself off so much from God that He is actually not pleased with you, to the point where God's like, okay, your life path needs to be cut short. Another reason why I do not like to use the term we are all one is because God, I like to think of it, God's up here, right? And every consciousness below that has pretty much fallen and is a spark of God. And if we were all one with something that resonated with God, He wouldn't have created individuals of Himself. We would have all just looked the same and been very basic and generic. But God wanted to individualize Himself. He wanted to experience Himself in different expressions, and He takes pride in all these different beings that make up God as a whole. I've had readings with Akashic Records readers where I've asked, when the bitch put arsenic in my drink, was it Archangel Michael or Jesus that came to me? And she's like, well, it doesn't matter because we're all one. And it's like, well, if it didn't matter, then God never would have individualized Himself as different aspects in the beginning. We all would have been just some iRobot kind of thing, all looking the same, right? So if God takes pride in all these different individual aspects of Himself, then we should as well. Another thing that you're going to hear in the spiritual community is that you are the only aspect in your reality and everyone is you pushed out, which is a bunch of bullshit, because after my visitation from Jesus on October 20th, 2020, I started to remember having conversations with other angelic beings before I incarnated here. And basically, there's all these different souls on planet Earth that just kept reincarnating in this certain cycle and never evolving. And that was one of the main reasons why I came here. And so to think that everyone is just you pushed out basically removes all the meaning for why many of the star seeds came here in the first place. We are in a part of the universe where we are all individual aspects of God. We have become our own gods. We are all gods. We are here to remember that we are gods. This is why I do not like saying we are all one, even though it is true to some degree. Just wanted to share my opinion. That's all I got. Hit the like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.